everybody, this is Julie with ReadySetStampIt.blogspot.com, and I thought it would be fun to share a recipe with you that I love to make, and it's with scones and Devonshire cream. Now, Devonshire cream originally is from London, or should I say England, and it's a very heavy cream, but I found a recipe that makes it really light, not necessarily light on the calories and light on the fat, but just lighter in flavor and lighter in taste. It's made with cream cheese, whipping cream, and a little bit of sugar. And the scones I make are off the hook, if I do say so myself. They're extra big. I cut it in huge triangle wedges, where normally you would get just like a circle type biscuit, and those are smaller, but go big or go home. So I'm going to make them for my neighbor because they made me these wonderful cookies for Christmas, and I thought this would be a nice way of saying thank you back to them. So let's get started. Alright, so let's get started here, and Kat, you're going to love this because here's my KitchenAid mixer that we are going to be using. So this will maybe be one of the things that you try with the KitchenAid mixer. It's really a great recipe and goes really fast. So I've already preheated my oven 450 degrees, and what you're going to need is 2 cups of flour. So I'm going to get the second cup here, 1 tablespoon of baking powder. So here's my tablespoon, and we have baking powder right here. Scoop that out. Let's see here, and then it's going to be 2 teaspoons of sugar. So here's my little sugar bowl. Whoops, sorry guys, I just bumped the camera there. 2 teaspoons of sugar. Okay, and then the next thing we're going to add is a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And I like to pour my salt into this measuring spoon here over the kitchen sink. So you guys aren't going to see me do that part, but I just do that to make sure to not do it over the recipe in case I accidentally do too much and then too much salt gets in there. So now we need a 1/2 cup of shortening, margarine or butter. I always use butter. Shortening, I don't really care for. Margarine, I just don't think your body can process that, so I personally choose butter. 2/3 cup milk, so let's do the milk here. And that was it, you guys. Now all you do, put on your little attachment, or if you don't have one of these, then you just hand stir it until it's all mixed up. So I'm just going to let this go for a little bit, and I could use the dough hook if I wanted to use, and that probably would have been best in this case, but I just use this one, so we're fine. And then you might need to stop it and then scrape it down, but when we come back I'll show you how we'll cut this, lay this out, and then put the cuts in it. Alright, so the next step we're going to do, I took the dough out of the bowl. I'm just going to kind of just roll it a little bit. It's onto a floured surface, and of course I have really cleaned this surface really well before working on it. And so what you're going to do is just kind of press it out just a bit. Normally what the recipe calls for you to do to make the biscuits is to actually roll it out about a 1/2 inch thick and roll it into a rectangle, and then cut it with your squares, your circles to make the biscuits. But I do things a little bit differently because this is supposed to make 8 to 10 biscuits, but I really make these biscuits huge, these scones huge. So this is a Pampered Chef little cutting blade that you're actually supposed to cut vegetables with it, but I love it for cutting scones with. So these are my scones. They're really big and they have a nice little fluted edge. And I just set them right here. Let me bring this over to you guys so you can see it. On this baking stone. This baking stone looks like it is dirty. It's actually not. It's just been seasoned. I absolutely love baking stones because they heat evenly throughout, and you cannot possibly burn things on the bottom. You can get them a dark brown, but you cannot burn them, and I absolutely love it. In particular for cooking cookies or any kind of baking, this is wonderful. So the next step, just put this onto your baking sheet or stone or whatever you might have. You cook it for 8 to 10 minutes, and then we'll get started on the cream. Okay everybody, welcome back. Now we're going to get started on the Devonshire cream, and what we're going to do is add 2 cups of cold whipping cream, and we're going to put that on high and just let that go. And while we do that, what I've done and what I recommend you to do, you need 6 ounces of cream cheese. In a cream cheese box, if you buy one of those boxes, that's 8 ounces. So you just, and it'll be labeled on there, so you can cut off 2 ounces of that. And I usually microwave this for about 15 seconds. Alright, so, and when I said 6 ounces of cream cheese, I do that because I double the recipe to have extra. It normally calls for 3 ounces of cream cheese and 1 cup of whipping cream, and then also 1 teaspoon of sugar. But I'm doubling it up, and I always double it up, so I should have probably mentioned that for you guys. So I'm adding 2 teaspoons of sugar here, and the cream cheese that's been softened. I do have 6 ounces here that I'm adding. And then you just mix it all together until it's creamy and make sure that there's no lumps. So probably put it on a medium speed for that. And for the whipping cream, of course, I put that on a high speed. And when we're all together, when we come back, I'll show you how this all comes together. Okay, so here the biscuit is, and what I was talking about, how it doesn't get burnt on the bottom, it just gets a nice golden brown, and how huge these biscuits are. So there's the biscuits, and how you serve this. I would serve it just like this, but you tell them to cut it in half. You add some of this really yummy cream, Devonshire cream, and then you take some of your jam that you might have. I think this is blackberry jam, and put it all together inside of here, and it is phenomenal. So anyway, these are hot off the press. So I'm going to run these over to my neighbors, and I hope you guys give this a try. Happy Sunday to you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.